My goodness, what a difference a change of director makes. Holy moly. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Yes, it's the new Marvel movie. And it's directed by Sam Raimi. I did the previous review on Doctor Strange. I was like, I'm not looking forward to the second one now. And then after I did that review, I was like, maybe they got a different director or writer or something? Yep. It's one of my favorite directors of all time. It's Sam Raimi, director of one of my favorite movies ever, Evil Dead 2. So yes, I was very happy. I went from being, I've got to watch another one of these to, all right, let's do it. And it's written by Michael Waldron, so we only got one writer this time. Nice. And this one writer seems to have a better handle on the character of Doctor Strange than the three previous ones did. Get out of here. Alright, so yes, we've got Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, Chetuel Ejiofor. Oh, I get that name really bad, but love doing Red Belt. That movie's awesome. Benedict Wrong, Xochitl Gomez, and Rachel McAdams. And I am not going to do spoilers yet. When I rip up the scoreboard, that's probably when I'll start. But for your non-spoilery part of the film, I had some issues with the first movie. The most notable one is I didn't like Doctor Strange very much and didn't want to root for him. Yeah, well, that's changed in this movie. I like Benedict Cumberbatch's portrayal as Dr. Stephen Strange in this movie significantly more than in his previous film, Doctor Strange. Much more interesting, much more grounded, and I don't know, this was a guy I could root for and get behind. Not a perfect guy, but a hero, nice and complex. It was good. I like his characterization much more in this film than the first film. So just from that alone, I like this movie a lot more than the first one. And what it's about is a little spoilery, but let's just say it involves a multiverse and Doctor Strange having to do something to save the multiverse. I'll leave it at that. But I do want to say that Benedict Cumberbatch is fantastic in this. Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch was fantastic. This is the first time I've seen her since the last movie she appeared in, because I haven't watched any of the Disney superhero shows. I'm sorry, except for one episode of Moon Knight. I didn't like it. So I don't know what led to the character being in the place that she is when this movie starts, but her performance in this was awesome. And her story arc, whilst a bit predictable and probably doesn't warrant 2 hours of film to tell, there's enough in this movie that on the way to make you sit up, have a smile on your face, and all that kind of stuff. And what makes this film even better, because you got a better much better director in this, is also seeing those Sam Raimi flourishes. This guy knows how to make weird supernatural shit look creepy. He knows how to make things look visually interesting and disturbing, even though it's, not a high-rated movie. It's, I think it's M in Australia. So it manages to be a little scary and creepy in places, which I did appreciate. It was really cool. It's a bit MacGuffin-y, like most of these movies tend to be, but that's okay. The ride was fun. There's nits I can pick, but at the end of the day, why bother when I just had a good, solid, fun time with it? And that's what I wanted. Couldn't really get behind the first Doctor Strange movie, but this one, it has some fan servicey things that even me, who's not a fan of Doctor Strange, was just like, all right, that's super cool. There's a casting choice in this movie that I absolutely love. And yeah, I'm going to give Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness a 7. There's some things I don't quite like, and maybe I would have done differently in terms of the story, but the presentation, the action, and everything like that is got a significant upgrade from the first movie. And I'm going to say that's probably a big part of that is Mr. Sam Raimi himself. So yeah, 7 out of 10. I can't talk. 7 out of 10. Can't talk. Yeah. I'm going to keep talking after I rip this up. So, if you don't want any spoilers, I don't like doing 2 videos, spoiler free, so it's too much editing. So here we go. I'm going to talk some spoilers right about now. And the big one for me, right off the bat, is the choice of villain in this film. And that's Scarlet Witch, played by Elizabeth Olsen. Her performance is awesome. I loved it. She's a badass in this movie. She's incredible. But I guess my niggle here is, in order to have an interesting villain in your Marvel superhero movie, you had to turn a goodie into a baddie. You had to turn them heel, in other words. And I'm like, there's a wealth of awesome villains that you could have chosen, and I don't know. But having said that, though, what we get instead with this Elizabeth Olsen, the Scarlet Witch, as the villain is pretty good. Yeah, I would have done it differently. Maybe had them combine forces to fight someone bigger, like in the Marvel tradition. But they wanted to go a different route, and that's fine. The other thing I didn't like about this movie is the child sidekick character. All these movies have to have them these days, and I don't dig them. No, found the character really annoying and kind of superfluous. In fact, I would have preferred it if maybe it was an alternate version of Rachel McAdams' character, and it's just like, all right, you've got to join me. I'm this multiverse scientist. Let's go. Or I've got powers or whatever. Rather than this younger person. I get that the younger person's in there. It's a family movie. It's for everyone. You want to rope in as many people as possible. It's fine. I get that. But the character did not quite work for me. Not in a way that annoyed me, like Peter Parker's best friend in the Spider-Man movies. But still, yeah, not my favorite. So those little nitpicks aside, the end credit sequence, the very end of the credits, love it. Absolutely love it. I love, you can tell at certain points in this movie, you can tell that this is a Sam Raimi film. Of course, interesting camera angles and ways of filming, of course. But then the horror flourishes come out, and they're all really, really good, as well as a callback to a movie I mentioned at the start of the review, Evil Dead 2. Seeing Bruce Campbell just punch himself up once again was... In fact, out of all the fan servicey parts of this film, it wasn't the Marvel superhero kind of stuff that made me go, wow, yeah! Even though some of that did, what made me mark out the most was seeing Bruce Campbell just punch himself up. I love that. And lastly, I don't know if they're making another Fantastic Four movie, but John Krasinski as Reed Richards, yes please, hook that up to my veins. Yeah. So yeah, after all that, I still enjoyed this movie a lot more than I thought I did. As I said in my previous review, not a huge Strange fan, but if Strange movies are going to be more like this one, awesome. Yes, please. 7 out of 10. Yeah, I'm doing this again. Yeah. Thank you, Sam Raimi.